Hey guys, EBPMAN here. Now in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the NeoBuds Pro. These are from Edifier, and they have active noise canceling, fantastic bass, and we're going to do an EBPMAN style call quality and audio test to see how these sound. So let's get right to it. Now the NeoBuds Pro have decent specs. We're talking about 5 hours of battery life with active noise canceling on, 15 hours with the case. Now if you turn off active noise canceling, you can expect to get 6 hours and then 18 hours with the case. So it's really going to depend on how you have them configured. Now these earbuds do feature some really enhanced audio features. So depending on what level of fidelity you have, your battery life is going to vary. So for example, that 5-hour battery life that I mentioned, I've seen it cut down all the way up to 4 hours and 30 minutes in my experience, depending on the audio settings that you're going to hear in a couple seconds. So again, you can, depending on your audio experience and how much fidelity you want, you can expect, I'd say, anywhere from 4.5 hours all the way up to 6 hours on a single charge. Now, for those of you who are going to be using them for long periods of time, rest assured that one of the cool things that these have is that they do have quick charging technology, so you're going to get in 10 minutes 1 hour of usage. Now the active noise canceling is really good, and you're going to hear it in our EBPMAN style audio and call quality test. We're going to include the active noise canceling and transparency mode test. 42 dB is what they claim they can cut. We'll put that to the test. Transparency mode, as we mentioned, and they do feature LDAC and also I would say decoding that it's going to give you the ability to have up to 900 kbps when it comes to audio quality, right? So that's going to be a higher rate of quality, especially if your phone supports it. Now you do have 80 millisecond low latency latency time when it comes to gaming. So if you put it into that mode, it's going to suck up a little bit more power, but it's going to give you that ultra low latency mode. Bluetooth 5.0 as well. IPX54, so if you want to use these in the gym. And then also they have special tips that are germ-proof. You heard that right, germ-proof. Really eliminating 99.8% of any kind of germs that come from putting them in your ears, right, and taking them out. So really great features. So let's take a closer look. Now the case for the NeoBuds Pro are pretty cool. They have a cool LED in front that will open this up for a second so you can see that, see how it lights up. We'll go ahead and close it and you can see how it has a little animation as well. No wireless charging. They have a cool LED, but they should have had wireless charging. USB-C charging in the back, and then the earbuds themselves are magnetically guided. So as soon as you put them in, they'll lock into place just like that, and you can notice the LED light will give you some feedback, letting you know that things are connected. They close well, so they snap well, and you can hear that, right? And when they're open, you don't have to worry about them falling out because of the magnetic lock. Now, as we take a look at the earbuds themselves, you'll notice pretty much standard design. They go in your ear, they have the long stem on the side, and as we put these on, they have great passive noise canceling. As soon as you put them on, you can feel that it's been locked out, but you just need to make sure that you have the right earbud tips, even if it means that you're going to swap, and maybe not to have the same size on each side, but make sure that you have the right ear tips, because that's going to make a big difference when it comes to audio. So let's talk about audio. From an audio perspective, you're looking at deep bass, like, you know, rumbling bass, and you're going to hear that in our test in a couple seconds. Bass, mids, and highs are present. You have good clarity, and I'm running these at the highest level so that you're going to get that highest quality. So you'll hear that hopefully as you listen to what we've been able to capture. Now, active noise canceling does a really good job. You can hear that as well. Transparency mode, you do have the ability to bump these up, and I put them almost like in the super hearing mode, right, that I've mentioned before. So it does give you a little bit of that. And then as we were talking about the audio quality, there's no, I would say, competing, at least in my opinion, with these when it comes to bass, mids, and highs. There's good music separation, and there's also good soundstage. So check out this audio test so that you can hear what we heard. Make sure you're wearing some earbuds and some headphones so you can check them out.
You look at me like I'm crazy when I shut my feelings out. You look at me like I'm different, still you stay cause you feel something real. Get so lost in my moments, doesn't mean I don't need you. I fell in love with your colors, they kinda tell me what I'm thinking. I fell in love with bass.
Ambient sound. Low noise cancellation. High noise cancellation.
All right, that's all I think. Now next we're going to do our call quality test of the Edifier NeoBuds Pro in a quiet environment. If we take a look at our decibel readings, you'll be able to see that we're anywhere between 27 and 28 decibels of noise. It's going to switch. This is what the call quality will sound like making a phone call on the NeoBuds Pro. This is a test. 1, 2, 3. This is our test. Next, let's add some wind to the environment. Now, this is what the NeoBuds would sound like with wind in the environment. This is a test. 1, 2, 3. This is our test. Now we're in a much noisier environment with the NeoBuds Pro, and if we look at our decibel readings, you can see that it's anywhere between 37 and 77 decibels of noise. What we're going to do is we're going to switch to the NeoBuds. We're going to stay quiet for a couple seconds to see how much is being eliminated, and then we'll continue with the vocal test. Let's go ahead and switch. This is what the call quality would sound like making a phone call on the NeoBuds Pro in a noisy environment. This is a test. 1, 2, 3. This is our test. We're continuing our test with the NeoBuds, but this time with an infant crying in the background. This is what they would sound like if an infant were crying in the background. Now, if you're wondering what the NeoBuds would sound like with a dog barking in the background, this is what they would sound like with a dog barking in the background. Now, if you're wondering what they would sound like with a doorbell ringing in the background, this is what they would sound like with a doorbell ringing in the background. Now, as we take a look at the Edifier app, what you'll find is that this is a very robust app. It has a lot of features, and I also like the visuals that you see here. So basically, you have your left and your right earbud. You can see the battery levels. If the earbuds were in the case, you would also see the battery level of the case. You do have high, you have also low and ambient noise. And as you tap, you actually get in your ear, you'll hear low noise cancellation. When you go into ambient mode, it's going to say ambient sound, and now I can hear myself. So now I can hear everything that's going on around me. You could also choose normal mode, and in normal mode what will happen is ambient goes away and then the passive noise canceling kicks in. That's the seal that you get from the earbuds. And I have to tell you, they're really, really, really good, right? The other thing that you have is the ability to basically work with some of the settings that you see here. But before we do that, we're going to swipe over so you can see another setting. You basically have the ability to determine what kind of music's profile would you'd like. You can either have classic or dynamic. All of our recordings have been done with a dynamic. You have the ability to customize that. And if you hit the gear, this is where you'll be able to adjust things, and you can see frequencies and what you would like to change. And then if you swipe again over, you can actually enable game mode. So to get that ultra low latency that we talked about, but make sure that if you're not using game mode, that you turn that off so that you really don't use up your battery life by doing that. Now in the settings area, you have a lot of options. You see your firmware version, you see also your tap settings so that you can configure things. They don't really have a lot of flexibility. You know, they have double tap or triple taps, right? So you can configure those things on each one of the earbuds, but there's not a lot, or there's not a terrible amount of options. You do have the ability to repair. You have factory settings, user manual, turn them off, tap sensitivity, and then this is what we've enabled. So here, right, you can actually change your stream quality, right? So I'm testing everything in the highest possible quality, and you can see that we have that setting set up. But you have other options where you can change the actual quality. Now keep in mind that not all phones can support this, so depending on the phone type, this may or may not matter for you. Sampling rate as well. I've highlighted the highest sampling rate so that I can get the best experience, but you can actually change that because you know that that's going to affect your battery. So once you make any of those changes, what ends up happening is you have the repair. There's like a repairing event, but it's pretty seamless when that takes place. So guys, that wraps up our review of the Edifier NeoBuds Pro. So guys, that wraps up our review of the Edifier NeoBuds Pro. See you in the next video.